UFP, the United Federation of Podcasts.
Infinite diversity.
Live long and prosper, and welcome to Infinite Diversity, a Star Trek Universe podcast, here on the United Federation of Podcasts Network. I'm your host for today, Justin, and joining me are my very animated co-hosts, Chrissie and Brandon. So, Chrissie, how are you doing today? I like the stylized form that you're taking.
Thank you. I thought I'd switch things up a little bit for all the new shows that we have coming out. I'm doing well, thank you. Hopefully you are too.
Great. And Brandon, in your animated form, I'm not sure what species you are. Can you tell me?
Definitely Talaxian.
Are you sure about
definitely
that?
Definitely Talaxian, you guys. Definitely Talaxian.
Would we take a genetic test, and would it say that? Or would it say something else that maybe we're going to talk about later?
I don't know if you guys know what I'm referencing, but definitely Talaxian.
We will get into this.
Right.
So listeners, thanks for joining us on this episode. We're going to have another one where we talk about news. So we had one recently where we talked about some book news. There has been some more news related to some of the books we talked about briefly, 4 of them actually.
And all that news came out before our episode on the books.
Before the episode came out. Yeah, so I had to share it on social media and be like, it's still a great discussion, even though it doesn't have the latest. But we're going to talk about the latest book news. We're also going to talk about the latest show news, because there was an investors call from Viacom CBS on February 24th. They were hyping Paramount Plus, which includes Star Trek stuff. And there was news probably mainly about Prodigy, but about a few other things that I think are interesting to talk about here. So why don't we just go ahead and get into it? So last time on the podcast when we talked about news, we said there is a Picard novel coming out in August that says R.E. We don't know who it's by. And Brandon, I think you had guessed John Jackson Miller, right?
I did. I said, I bet you John Jackson Miller's going to write that one.
Yep.
And man, you were correct again with the book stuff.
I'm pretty
So
good right now on my guesses here, you know.
I think you're doing great on your guesses, yeah. So let's get into it. This one is going to be called Rogue Elements by John Jackson Miller, coming in August, and we have a synopsis. So it says, Starfleet was everything for Cristobal Rios, until one horrible, inexplicable day when it all went wrong. Aimless and adrift, he grasps at a chance for a future as an independent freighter captain in an area betrayed by the Federation, the border region with the former Romulan Empire. His greatest desire, to be left alone. But solitude isn't in the cards for the captain of La Sirena, who falls into debt to a roving gang of hoodlums from a planet whose society is based on Prohibition-era Earth. Parenthetically, I know we'll be talking about that. So it continues, yeah. Teamed against his will with Ledger, his conniving overseer, Rios begins an odyssey that brings him into conflict with outlaws and fortune seekers, with power brokers and relic hunters across the stars. Exotic loves and locales await, as well as dangers galore, and Rios learns the hard way that good crew members are hard to find, even when you can create your own. And while his meeting with Jean-Luc Picard is years away, Rios finds himself drawing on the Starfleet legend's experiences when he discovers a mystery that began on one of the galaxy's most important days. All right, so there's the synopsis. Chrissie, your thoughts, since you were oohing and ahhing at part of it.
Yes, I have to say I didn't read the synopsis before.
That's okay.
Which I'm glad, because now I have immediate response. What in the world is the most important day? That's got to be Wolf 359.
One of the galaxy's most important days that began. Well, I guess it depends on when this takes place. We know it takes place before Picard, which is in season 1, which is in 2399. Right. But maybe it's still a reference to the supernova. I don't know. But I think your ooh and ah was about the Prohibition era Earth, which is a reference to Piece of the Action, right?
Yes.
Must be.
Okay, I misheard the other part because I was thinking he was referencing back to the galaxy's most important day, but it's happening on that. So that was my goof. But yeah, Piece of the Action.
My initial thought was the important day would be the attack on Mars, but I guess that probably wouldn't be for the galaxy. That's more just for like the Federation. So I don't know.
It could be.
I don't know. It's pretty interesting. I mean, you know, I was excited for another Picard novel. Loved John Jackson Miller's novels. He's written some great Discovery and TNG and Titan novels, and Rios is a great character, and maybe we'll learn more about the origin of, you know, his holograms. And I was joking with Brandon that maybe we'll find out that he is a hologram, which
Finally.
was his theory when we were on the line. Yeah,
Finally.
it'll finally be revealed in that book. But Brandon, any thoughts on this one?
I'm very excited. I mean, I love Rios. I mean, that's the great thing about Picard is that there's a lot of really great characters. Like Raffi and Rios both are probably my two favorite characters. Not on that on that show, but I mean, like, along with Saru, like those are my three favorite characters of all new Star Trek. Right, those
awesome.
three, and two of them are in Picard. Right, so I love Rios. I think he's an awesome character.
Yeah, I'm excited about this one as well. I love Rios as a character. It's great to get another Picard novel. So, yeah, looking forward to this one coming in August. So, should we talk about the other one, which was also very exciting? So, we had talked on the previous podcast that there was this trilogy that was coming in September, October, November, with books written by Dayton Ward, James Swallow, and David Mack. And we had speculated that this had to do with the kind of post-DS9, post-Nemesis litverse that's been created over the last 20 years, which I think we've very much enjoyed, and it seemed like was maybe coming to an end, and maybe this would tie that up. And I think we did have it confirmed that that would be the case.
Yeah.
So, so first of all, I think it's important just to note the titles. So coming on September 28th. So this trilogy will be called Star Trek Coda, which also seems to say that it's wrapping something up. So the one in September is Book 1, Moments Asunder by Dayton Ward. Then on October 12th, Book 2, The Ashes of Tomorrow by James Swallow. And then on November 30th, Book 3, Oblivion's Gate by David Mack. And also, Dayton Ward had said a little bit of it on Facebook, basically, I think, confirming what we thought about it. So what he said was, back in July 2019, and in response to what we knew about the then forthcoming Picard TV series, David Mack and I sat down at the Shore Leave Convention for the first of what would be many conversations that quickly expanded to include James Swallow, and we got to work on a project that we've been calling The Plan. And I'll just add here, we did have James Swallow on, and he did talk about the plan, so we got a little taste of that, not much. So Dayton Ward continues, the result of all that scheming is a new Star Trek trilogy, Coda, which will push forward the ongoing 24th century Trek novel continuity. We spent a good portion of early to mid-2020 developing the story together. We each weighed in on the other outlines as we got those whipped into shape and presented the entire package to our editors as well as the licensing folks at CBS. While each book is credited to its author, the plan is for all three books to carry a joint story credit the same way Dave, Kevin Dillmore, and I did for certain books within the Vanguard and Seekers series. So I'm very excited about this, that there's going to be, you know, this trilogy, which we haven't had as much of in the last couple of years, and that it's going to cover more of that 24th century litverse. I think there's a lot of potential. They can bring in stuff from TNG and DS9 and Voyager and, you know, Titan in that continuity and all of that. But so I just want to ask, like, your thoughts and maybe a top one or two things that you would love to see in this trilogy, Brandon.
Well, I guess for a top one or two things about this, I mean, aside from the fact that I'm super excited for this because I've invested a lot of time in the post Nemesis series of books,
many hours.
Yeah,
right?
and I mean, like they're great books, and I don't have a problem that we got a new show that didn't line up. It doesn't bother me. I've always understood that could be the case. There's always things in these books that I take as my own personal canon. Like people do that, their own. Like no matter what, we don't have it on screen. But to me, the Andorians are a four-gendered species. And that will always be the case.
I feel the same way here.
Whether or not they add that on the show, that will always be the case for me, because I think that's such a fascinating idea.
It's an amazing idea, yeah.
But, I mean, I guess I don't even know where to go for what do I hope. Like, what was the last one we got? It was the one that was wrapping up the David Mack's book with the Section 31
David Mack's Collateral
stuff.
Damage.
Yeah. And Voyager.
And there was the Voyager one, which takes place some years before that last Picard.
Oh, that's true.
That last TNG one, yeah.
Because they kind of wrapped that plot line up pretty tightly with that last
for TNG.
Yeah, that was such a good book. Oh, that stuff with the Nausicaans in that was just amazing. Like that was one of the best Trek books in like years. That was a really top tier novel. So yeah, I guess I don't really know where I would want this to go. I don't even want to speculate because it's really kind of wide open, I think, where they could go with this.
It kind of is. Because there has been so much that's been covered. I mean, I mentioned TNG, DS9, Voyager, and in the last Voyager novel, it takes place about 4 years before the last TNG novel in this continuity because it's not lined up in the same way. Yeah. But that left on a very wide open note that they could kind of take forward some years. I mean, it's also a question, right? When does this take place? Does it take place around 2386, which is the last one, 2387 with the supernova in that continuity? Is it later? Like, I don't think we know. And there's so much that's involved as well, with what the Titan crew had been through and where, DS9 was at that point, which wasn't really wrapped up much. I mean, and in addition, like, I love Esri Dax in the novels. She's one of my favorite things because she goes on the command track. She becomes a captain of the Aventine, which is this slipstream vessel that's incredible. And, like, I'd love to see her in this. And, I mean, there's just... you're right, Brandon. There are so many things, and it's hard for me to narrow down. Except, like, I want to read it now. But Chrissie, like, your thoughts and maybe a few things you'd like to see.
I
mean, it's like 20 years of story that you could, like, take so many places, right?
Yeah, I don't know where to go with that. The titles, I got really stuck on Tomorrow, The Ashes of Tomorrow, and Oblivion's Gate. And so anytime you hear Gate with Star Trek stuff, I'm thinking, Guardian of Forever.
Yeah, me too.
Or the Iconians.
Iconian Gateway.
Which is less likely, I think. Moments Asunder. So I jokingly was talking about Q Squared in the last episode and how you have the different tracks. And Moments Asunder feels like we might find that things are mixed up and that maybe what we've been following is not what we thought we were following.
Well, I mean...
Oh.
I knew that the whole time because, I mean, we all know Picard and Vash is really the true love story here, right? Getting it together with Crusher? Come on.
It certainly is not. Vash. Yeah. That's a whole nother topic. But no, that's an interesting thought, and like, but go ahead, continue.
Well, I just to finish with that is that this almost feels like it's going to go the way of the Kelvin timeline in a good, and that sounds like a bad thing, in a good way, that it will be established that there was some breaking point, and the books are this timeline, and the shows are this timeline.
Yeah, well,
that would be a logical place to go. So.
Here's something interesting, and on Positively Trek, their book club with Bruce and Dan, the next thing they're going to cover on March 5th, which I think will be a couple days after this episode comes out, is the Star Trek Online novel, The Needs of the Many. And one of the reasons Bruce wanted to cover that was that in that novel, like what happens for the game in Star Trek Online in that novelization takes things in a different direction. It's based on what's on screen, of course, but it takes it in a different direction than the novelverse had been going. And there's actually I want to try not to spoil anything about that book, but maybe I will because I think it's interesting, and I'll see if they bring it in here. In that book, one of the Department of Temporal Investigations agents, I don't remember whether it's Luxley or Dulmer, but one of them has actually been through something and remembers what was in the novel continuity with the Borg invasion and all that kind of stuff, which isn't in the Star Trek Online novel. So I almost think like there may be some, not that they'll connect it to that book, but there may be some way in which there's some like splitting of timelines or temporal thing that happens so that you can reconcile like how this happened, how this is different, or maybe some event will happen and they'll merge together. Because in the Department of Temporal Investigation books by Christopher Bennett, which I love, he talks about like how things can split off, or maybe they split off for a while and they merge back, or like all these things can happen. I'm gesturing with my hands, which our listeners can't see, but but if you can imagine that, like it either diverges or it just kind of like a stream, like it goes around a rock and then it just kind of merges back on the other side in a river. I just wonder if they'll go there in order to connect it up in some way. I don't know.
When you said that he'd experienced the novel verse and it was that raised the hair on my arms. That's just beautiful. I was like, oh, wow, fantastic.
It was such an unexpected thing, and sorry if I've spoiled it, listeners, but you should read the Star Trek Online novel because it's actually a really great novel that's kind of a series of interviews by Jake Sisko in the 25th century about stuff that happened early. It's brilliant. But yeah, like, and he's like the only one that remembers basically the novelverse continuity. Right? So, anyway.
That's okay. I'm downloading that right now because I... All right.
It's a quick read actually because it's a series of interviews. But anyway, that went way off. But listeners, if you have read these novels or if you're catching up on them to try to connect up to this trilogy, let us know your thoughts because I mean there are so many ways that they can go. But I think with Dayton Ward and James Swallow and David Mack, I think they'll come up with something really great to kind of tie it up.
Somebody brought up online, and I don't remember what it is or who it was. Excuse me. I'm sorry. About the idea that you can count it with Deanna Troy's pregnancies and how she has all the miscarriages in the novel verse. And then you could go like, okay, but in the other timeline, she doesn't. And so you have this fix there that's relatively easy.
I think that was on Positively Trek when they were talking with James Swallow about the Dark Fate.
That might have been.
Yeah.
Deanna Troy had a lot of miscarriages in the novel.
Didn't she have two?
She I think she had maybe two in the Titan novels.
Something like the lead up to the Destiny trilogy. In fact, that's where she begins. Yeah. Because Ree wants her to the third pregnancy is not viable, and he wants to terminate it, and she won't, and then the Kaliar help. Again, spoilers.
Boy, we're going deep into what happens in some of the novels.
But it was all in the same book. Okay, so I was thinking like multiple books. The way you said it, I'm like, and in Star Trek Next Generation novels numbers 7, 12, 18, 19, 20, and 23, she has a miscarriage. I'm like, what?
No,
what's going on here?
I think
it's handled as this happened recently at the beginning of the Destiny trilogy.
Okay, yes, now I remember that. Yeah, just the way you worded it, I pictured this in multiple novels had this thing.
But I think the idea is maybe there's one event or one thing that's different, or like where you can tell it's different and goes into the other timeline. Anyway, I don't know if there's much more to say until we have like synopses for these novels. And apparently, like as the news of this got out, some of the authors were like, "Yeah, and I'm working on it right now. Stop bothering me with messages about this. I'm finishing the thing."
David Mack, like a day or two ago, was like, "There, I just finished the book," and I'm like, "What?"
I know it's crazy. So anyway. Listeners, we're excited about this, and hopefully, depending on the Star Trek schedule and whatnot, we'll be able to cover some of these novels.
Yeah.
So, let's move away from book news into show news. So, one of the things I mentioned that happened recently is an investor call for Viacom CBS, where they're promoting Paramount Plus. If, like me, you were watching some of it live, it wasn't actually terribly exciting because they didn't show much new footage or anything we didn't already know. Like, we know Strange New Worlds is coming, we know Prodigy's coming, etc. But there were kind of around that some different articles and some different places like Variety and Hollywood Reporter and all of that revealed some stuff. And one of the things that was revealed was a cast photo for Prodigy. Of course, it's an animated series, so it's the animated characters. And basically it shows 6 different characters. So one of the things I just wanted to mention before we talk about this cast photo is it has been mentioned before, kind of a one-liner about what the show is about. A group of teenagers steal a derelict Starfleet vessel and use it to explore the galaxy, is what it says on IMDb, and I think they put out before, which doesn't tell us much. So what we've known is that it's an animated show. It's being put together by the Hagerman brothers, and that Kate Mulgrew is in it as Janeway, which we found out some months ago. So beyond that, now we have a cast photo. I think one of the most striking things about the cast photo is that it's showing the main cast. It's 6 characters. None of them are human, which I think would be a first for a main cast of Star Trek. And there's kind of a variety of different species. It's hard for me even to describe some of them, but there's basically one that's kind of, I think Trek Corps called it a kit bash droid. Like it really is kind of like that. There's one that kind of looks like a Talaxian. We'll talk about that. There's one that's kind of a like taller, thin, pale alien, and then one that's I don't know, purple, and then kind of a big rock guy, and then a blob.
The Thing.
So yeah. Thing. No offense to any of them. But anyway, I thought that was interesting and kind of what they're putting together. I saw various reactions. I love it. I think it's great having the kind of non-human main cast. This might tell us that Janeway's not part of the main cast and is just kind of a supporting character. But Chrissy, like when you saw this, what were your reactions?
My first reaction was, why is the Thing on Star Trek? the Thing from Fantastic Four, not the Thing from the movie The Thing.
Okay. It looks so cute.
So it wasn't what's her name's dog?
Oh, could be.
Yeah,
could be both.
Because when his face split open and whatnot.
Yeah.
Vortex.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Okay.
Oh, well, no, probably not.
You guys didn't know where I was going. I'm sorry.
No, I didn't. I'm sorry.
It's okay. Could be a shapeshifter of some kind. Who knows?
The taller girl with the white face kind of reminds me of the Camino cloners.
Yeah,
from
me too. Yeah.
Star Wars, except for the neck. Yeah, the rest of it. I like the droid. Looks fun. I think this will be interesting considering how we've dealt with artificial intelligence and where this is set and how that affects.
Yeah, we also don't know when it takes place yet, right?
Well, but if Janeway's alive, we know it's.
Well, some people have speculated that maybe it's a hologram.
Okay.
And actually, I was wondering if it might be in the further future, and the original Voyager is the derelict vessel.
Oh, that
and
would be
it
cool.
Has a hologram of her on it. I don't know, maybe.
Well, it brings in Robert Picardo easily, too. And the little blob guy on the bottom, I hadn't really thought about, but then Jay said to me this morning, he's like, he looks like the guy on the Orville except blue, and I was like, oh yeah.
Yeah,
so
I could totally.
That would
see
be funny.
That.
But I'm not. I have no negatives to this. I'm making jokes about what the stuff looks like, but I no negatives. I'm just like, bring it. I want more Star Trek. It's gonna be great.
Okay, Brandon, your thoughts on what you see?
My first thought on this one here is it makes me think a lot of Star Wars Resistance. You know, it was a recent animated show designed for a very young age group, and I watched it and I enjoyed it. It wasn't great. It was good. You know, it was good. They were pretty basic episodes and whatnot. The second season had a really interesting arc of that show where one of the main characters was like off on the what do they call the bad guys in the JJ movies, like the New Republic, or not the New Republic, or whatever, the New Order. Sorry, one of them had gone off and was actually on a New Order ship for the season, and like so that was kind of an interesting plot point. But it has the feel of that show, and I'm going into it, seeing what I'm seeing, having watched Resistance, I'm expecting a Resistance type feel to this show. And I'm fine with that. I mean, I'm going into this is not going to be my favorite Star Trek show, but I'm going to watch it, and I'm going to enjoy it. I'm going to watch it with my kids, and
we'll see.
Yeah.
Maybe it'll be your favorite Star Trek show. I think at one point before Discovery came out, you thought it might be your favorite Star Trek show, and it is not.
It is not. Well, I predicted John Jackson Miller writing the next book, and I predict that this will not be my favorite Star Trek series.
Okay, but maybe let me ask this question: like, have your daughters seen this image, or what did they think of it?
I haven't even had a chance to show them. I've been working so many
okay.
darn hours here, but yeah,
that's fine. I mean, for me, I think I've admitted before there's a lot of Star Wars I have not seen, including that show. So I don't have any. Like, the only expectation that I have is they're non-human. They're all civilian, I think, which, yeah, in Picard we have, like, you know, all civilian main characters, but a lot of them are former Starfleet. I'm assuming none of these kids are former Starfleet. So I think it'll be an interesting kind of focus that we'll have, and hopefully we'll get into the different cultures that they have and kind of what they've been through. And I think it is maybe the opportunity to tell, like, real, like Star Trek stories, but in a different context or in a different way or for a different audience. I'm actually very excited about it. I don't know if it'll be my favorite show, but I think it's going to be pretty good. And I know that David Mack and Dayton Ward have been kind of consulting on it. Now let's talk about one character which people have speculated so much about, the one that you thought was Talaxian, because has kind of the spots that Neelix has and kind of the maybe hairstyle, but it's got kind of big, like a big tooth that's coming out, and I think someone noticed only has 3 fingers on each hand, so someone was thinking maybe half Tellarite of the like original Tellarites that had 3 fingers, but I don't know. There's not much to speculate about.
It's just a Talaxian with a snaggletooth.
And 3 fingers on each hand?
Sure. It's animated, so I don't know.
Oh, that's true. I didn't actually look that closely at everybody's hands. You can't really tell.
It's maybe a little hard to tell.
But
anyway, I think it's fun. I mean, the other thing is that this show will be coming this year, so it won't. They've been working on it for a while, and there won't be too long for us to find out more about it. So
I'll tell you. I told you guys, I think, in Messenger when I thought the next show was going to come, and I don't know if you guys. I had predicted that the next Star Trek show was going to start after Clarice is over.
And when's that over?
I think as of this recording is like 7 more episodes left in season 1 of Clarice. So based on that counting here, I'm going to say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I would say the week of the 19th of April.
Okay. I mean, that's certainly possible. Actually, that segues into the next story that I want to talk about here, which is... So, one of the things that was confirmed, I think it was in the Variety article, is not only is Prodigy coming, but Lower Decks Season 2 is coming, which I think is not surprising because we knew they were deep into it, but also Discovery Season 4, which they've been shooting since November. So we're going to get kind of all 3 this year, 3 seasons of Star Trek like we did last year, which I think is really exciting. That's assuming each one's 10 episodes. I think Discovery might be 10 episodes because of all the things they've had to go through with COVID protocols and all that. That's 30 weeks, so that's more than 6 months of Star Trek. So I think what you're saying, Brandon, could make sense, like something starting in April and going for a couple of months, and then something in the summer, and then something in the fall, right, to keep going.
Right.
And then from there, the Strange New Worlds has started shooting. Picard Season 2 has started shooting. Those will come in 2022. So I think that, we'll have constant Star Trek for a while, maybe, possibly starting in the spring. So what do you guys think about that?
Are you ready for that podcasting?
I am. I don't know about Brandon. He has quite the interesting schedule.
Yeah, listeners, I'm working a different job now here, so I'm not sure if a new show starts. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to be on every episode of the podcast coming up here. So I will do my best, but I may not.
We'll figure it out.
Yes. So
one of the things that was kind of buried in one of the articles was about the Section 31 show, which was first announced about 2 years ago now. And we know from Discovery Season 3, Michelle Yeoh's character, the Emperor Georgiou character, has kind of gone off somewhere through the Guardian of Forever. But I think it was interesting that in talking about this, I think Alex Kurtzman or somebody that was involved said that they're basically going to try to focus on 5 shows at a time. So we already have 5, which is still a lot, right? Compared to what we've had in the past. We have Discovery, we have Lower Decks, Prodigy. We also have Strange New Worlds and Picard as those 5 shows that are currently kind of actively in some form of production. And Section 31 would be a 6th show, but I think they had said something like there are still conversations going on. It's still a live project, but that maybe it would happen after one of those shows concludes. So it may still be a little while, but there was also an article from the showrunners of Section 31, Bo-Young Kim and Erica Leopold, where they were talking about some of the possibilities and things like that. I won't go into it because I think it's pretty speculative, but I think we don't know when this show is going to go forward or if it's really kind of
in limbo forever
happening.
Yeah.
I mean, they've set it up in Season 3 of Discovery. Like, she's off somewhere. Like, let's find that out. Mm-hmm. So I'm a bit disappointed that we don't know, but what do you guys think?
Yeah, me too. I've been really looking forward to this one. But I don't know. I mean, they got a lot of going on the plate, and the fans really responded when they said that Strange New Worlds is what they wanted. So and they really listened. So I guess I'm more excited about Strange New Worlds than I am about the Section 31 show. So I think they made the right call there. But they can only do so much at a time. Yeah. And 5 shows in production is a lot, right? So
5 is a lot. I mean, we've never had. Before this current era of Star Trek, we never had more than 2 shows in production at once. Yeah. Plus maybe a movie sometimes. But like 5 is wow. It's a lot. And we're going to get a lot of Star Trek. But I just want to add one kind of last thing to close this out, because there was also another article where they were talking about planning for what's beyond those 5 shows. So in the Hollywood Reporter, I guess the executive VP of Paramount Plus, Julie McNamara, said, and I'll just quote here, "We're in discussions about the next phase of the Trek universe beyond those 5 shows Alex has built," which is the ones we talked about before. "We're invested in growing the universe of Star Trek. That said, it's important to make sure that we are curating these properly. We're always incubating a number of things together and then working out what the right cadence is and what the right next show is. Those are active and constant conversations, multiple things in the hopper right now that represent the next phase, but we don't want to expand it too much too fast to where anyone is ever saying it's just another Trek show. We don't want that." Which I think is makes sense, right? Yeah, and we'll see what comes. I mean, I know we're impatient for our whatever idea we want of other additional shows. But let me just maybe close out by asking this question. Like, so we have the 5 shows plus Section 31, right, as what seems to be happening. For like that next phase kind of beyond those shows, is there some idea or some show or something that you would like to see beyond what we know of those 6 shows, Chrissie?
Ooh.
Like what would be...
What do I want
Whether
to
it's
see?
like possible or feasible or not, like what would be your dream show in addition to those?
Yeah, I don't know. A dream show is kind of tough. I would like to see the con story that they've been talking about doing that miniseries. Yeah. I would love to see that. I would love to.
We haven't heard about that in years.
I know. Yeah. I know. I'm still advocating for Tarantino Trek.
What if Tarantino did a TV show? Damn.
He could. I mean, it is streaming, so they're not held to the requirements of network television, so that could work. I'd love to see. I know it's not going to be in the continuity anymore, but I'd love to see the Destiny trilogy put on screen, or at least some element, like to see the Kaliar. I know I'm talking a lot about Destiny this time around, but I mean, there's so much you could. Romulan War. I mean, that's one that people talk about. Birth of the Federation.
No.
I mean, if you start thinking in like miniseries ideas, like they're doing with WandaVision, you could do almost anything. And
there's a lot. I mean, it's just such a huge and sprawling universe, and there are alternate timelines and like different periods of time, like all sprinkled throughout. There's a lot of things that you could possibly do. Brandon, any thoughts? Dream show.
Well, if I had a dream show, I would want like a Cardassian political thriller.
Yes.
Starring Andrew Robinson as Garrick.
Yeah, dealing with the Detapa Council and the Obsidian Order.
Yes.
Like, man, that'd be pretty awesome.
That would be awesome.
So
I would love that.
Una McCormick can be the showrunner.
Oh, yeah.
So
that would be amazing.
I would also love to see like an Enterprise C with Garrett. You know, I think that'd be great. But
that would be really interesting. Yeah, there's a lot of possibilities. I mean, I read one of the Lost Era novels recently, which is like Sulu's Excelsior and some other stuff around like the late 23rd century. And there's like a lot of great possibilities between kind of undiscovered country and the start of TNG and that kind of era.
Yeah.
I would also like to see something, founding of the Federation, or maybe just kind of the struggles in the early years after first contact with the Vulcans, where they're kind of going back and forth before they get on the right track, because I think that could be inspirational toward like what that takes to get to that place. I've also thought that there could be something that's interesting between the late 24th century and the 32nd century. Like there's a lot of time there that Discovery has jumped over, and there might be some really interesting stories or things that happen. Like, but probably my real dream show, if we could ever get it, would be like a Department of Temporal Investigation show, because I've loved those novels. I love time travel in Star Trek. If you could have something that is like all about time travel, I know not everybody loves time travel, but I love it. If it was all time travel all the time, I would absolutely love that, because it would be so weird.
Well, they could run it like X-Files. I mean, after all, the 2 characters are named after Mulder and Scully. And they could just do little Monster of the Week, Time Travel of the Week type thing.
That could be. It could be episodic. Like here's the temporal thing to fix. Brandon seems skeptical.
Yeah, I don't think that'd work as a TV show where like the time travel of the week thing. I don't think that would work. So I don't know. I've been convinced from the DTI novels that they're great books. I love them. I read them a few years ago. They're all fantastic. I think there's 2 novels and a short novel.
There's 2 full novels and 3 e-novellas.
3 novellas. Okay, yeah. So
But you're thinking it's better for books?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Okay.
It depends.
There is some really weird stuff. Yeah.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
It depends on how many sets we have going and the stuff, because the main thing that would be the issue with the time travel is, okay, if we're going to have them go back to the 21st century Enterprise, we have to rebuild it. But if we can just walk over to the next set and be on the Discovery, then it's like, an equivalent, you know.
Yeah, what a coincidence. We just jumped to all the current shows in production every week.
Yeah. And that could be fun, because they could do a cartoon one
but
for Lower Decks.
I like an animated time travel. Anyway,
That would be easier,
okay, so
actually.
maybe,
But would Dahmer and Luxley be animated, or would they be live action inserted into an animated show?
They would do like they did for that episode of Farscape.
I haven't seen Farscape. I don't know.
Oh, there's an episode where
seen enough of it to
they
get there.
jump into, and I don't remember how they get there. I think it's in Crichton's mind, but they end up basically in Looney Tunes, and sometimes they're they're real human selves, and there's the cartoon background, and then at one point they all get cartoonized. I think it's been a long time since I've seen it, so listeners, if you're yelling at your pod right now, then I goofed up. But it's a funny episode.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Yeah. All right. Well, I guess that's kind of the news we have now. Just thought it would be interesting to talk about it, catch up on the book stuff and what's coming. Any final thoughts you guys want to
add? More Star Trek, please.
Yeah.
Seconded.
Well, you're going to get your wish. There will be more Star Trek. There'll be a lot more coming. Yep. So we have 3 seasons coming this year. I wouldn't be surprised, since they want kind of Trek every quarter, if we might have like 4 seasons next year. That would be really cool.
That would depend too. They could overlap some of the kids' stuff, if they wanted to, because it's not necessarily geared to the same audience.
That's true, but I think they have said they don't want 2 shows going at at exactly the same time with new episodes if it's possible. But okay, so Chrissie, where can people find you when you're not thinking of your dream Star Trek show and wondering why they will never make it because it's not feasible to do?
Yeah. It's not. Although we're coming along. We've gotten to the point. How did Marina Sirtis put it? We'll have more non-humanoid characters when we have non-humanoid actors, and now with animation, we can do that.
But we need to make first contact with an alien species so we can have non-humanoid actors, or because I'm assuming they won't be quite humanoid.
I don't know, man.
But
I've been watching with my kids here. There's this series of movies from Disney, Beverly Hills Chihuahua, right? Where you got chihuahuas and they just CGI the mouth moving on the dogs. Why can't we get like dogs and giraffes and just CGI their mouths moving? Come on, people.
Well, that's animation.
Because they're
giraffe representation.
They're really hard to direct for a Star Trek show. I mean, we've heard people complain about having to work with cats and dogs on the set.
It's an all-giraffe ship.
It'd be very, very tall. Very tall.
The frickin' ship, the neck of the ship will just be like super long.
Yeah, it'll be like a giraffe neck between the secondary and primary hulls.
And the opening of it will be like the opening of Spaceballs, where it just goes on and on and on as you're looking at the ship. Okay, well, that went a weird place. Right, so if you'd like to talk to me about... Not about Giraffe Trek,
ships.
Because that's Brandon, but if you'd like to talk to me about other things, I'm in the Federation Council Chambers on Facebook, of course. I'm on Twitter at The Goddess Livia, and that is spelled TheGoddessLivia. And there I tweet about Star Trek history and leftist politics. You can also follow my work in history by liking the webpage my fellow historian partner Jason and I run, and that's History with the Szilagys, and that's spelled SZILAGYIS. We have a Facebook page with that name and a regular web page with that name. And there we post interesting history stories and links to our own work.
All right, excellent. So, Brandon, where can people find you when you're not serving aboard your giraffe ship and just having such a difficult time because the ceilings are so tall?
Yeah. Okay, hold on. Before I say that, what do you guys think about this here? One of the giraffes' names could be Raffi.
Oh, like for giraffe. Yeah, I like that.
What do you think? I love it.
Perfect.
Okay, yeah. You can find me on Twitter at Brandon Matella, and you can find me here on the network with another show called Franchise Fatigue. I'm still running Good Evening, an Alfred Hitchcock podcast, and we're wrapping up our House Lights series over on the Nerd Party Network, talking about Christopher Nolan. I'm not going to be able to join them again because of my work schedule. I won't be able to join them for Wes Anderson, and I don't know if I'll make it back. I don't know. We'll see how it goes, and we'll see what happens with my work schedule over the next little bit here. So anyways, that's about it. Justin, where can people find you when you're not eagerly anticipating the C trilogy?
I am eagerly anticipating that Coda trilogy. I know you said you were disappointed it's not the chocolate trilogy, but I think Coda works. Yeah.
You can eat chocolate while you're reading it.
It's
okay.
It's 3 books that are filled with all the different ways Deanna Troi likes to eat chocolate.
Oh, I love it.
Take that where you will.
Yeah.
Okay, so you can find me on Twitter. I'm at TrekFan4747, where I tweet about nothing but Star Trek. And you can find me hanging around our Facebook group, the Federation Council Chambers. Thank you very much for tuning into Infinite Diversity. Thank you to our executive producers, Ken Tripp, Tony Robinson, and Zach Marr. Thank you to Zach Tripp for the wonderful theme music and Tony Robinson for the awesome show art. Please rate and review us on Apple Podcasts, and please subscribe. And please also support us on Patreon at patreon.com/UFPEarth. You can check out the different benefit levels there. If you want to reach out, you can find the network on Twitter at UFP Earth, or our show specifically at IDIC Podcast. You can also talk about any and all of the UFP podcasts in our Facebook group called the Federation Council Chambers, or you can email us at infinitediversity@ufp.earth. So on the next episode, even though I said it before, now really the next episode will be our interview with Adil Hussein, who played Lieutenant Sahil in Discovery Season 3. I swear it will be the case next week.
But if you're a
until
Patreon
then,
member, you can listen right now.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. Yeah. If you go and subscribe, what is it, at the $3 a month level at least, you can listen to it right now. So please, patreon.com/UFP Earth, because it takes some money to run a network. All right. So then, until then, listeners, peace and long life. And maybe as a reminder, sorry, you may have to edit this out.
That's all right.
Look this up. Oops.
Whoa.
You'll definitely have to edit this out.
That's my phone. That thing where the phone fell, you'll have to edit
There's
that
our
out.
stinger.
Exactly. Oh, boy.
This has been a production of MTMR Media Works.